welcome to Pursuit of Perfect Systems review for the Luxman M700U stereo power amplifier. Luxman Corporation was founded in Japan in 1925 by two brothers. Can't say their names, both surnamed Luxman. It's one of the oldest audio companies within the industry. If you look at Luxman's history, there are many company milestones over the company's near century of being in business. Many of these are amplifier related, either solid state and tube. Luxman is a very well-known brand, having been around for nearly a century. It's a company that I was familiar with and interested in. However, I've never heard a product from Luxman until now. And if this is anything to go by, I would like to hear more. The design of this amplifier needs little words in terms of its aesthetic appeal. It's an absolutely stunning piece of audio equipment. Considering the business has been going for 100 years and that it's now owned by a larger parent company, you would think this product's still made by a small boutique manufacturer, someone like Dan D'Agostino, Master Audio. The fit and finish on this thing is absolutely outstanding, and it's the type of looks that you would have to be blind to not think that this is nice. And to be honest, even a blind man would touch this and feel this and think this is a beautiful piece of home electronics. I mean, Luxman really here have really gone for it with this design, and if you look back through some of the older amplifiers that they've made, they've been similar to this. However, this one they've really sort of pushed the boat out. I mean, for example, the top plate is it's nearly a centimetre thick. I'm assuming this is aluminium. I don't think this is solid stainless steel, but all of these grooves, all of these like vents, have all been milled out of one single piece of solid aluminium, even to the point of the holes through the grills. It's all one solid piece. There's literally not a panel on this which isn't perfectly aligned. The actual kind of silvery white finish is outstanding. It really is a special looking amplifier in my opinion, and it's interesting, it reminds me of a beautiful woman. When you walk into a room, you may not be looking for her or it, however it will catch your attention, and when it does, you'll look at it and you'll look again and you'll look again and you'll want to look more. It really stands out in, as an amplifier, it really stands out in the showroom, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to review it, is because when I was in there it caught my attention and I was really impressed by it. It really stands out. To me, this is an amplifier made by an audiophile as opposed to made by an accountant. They've really spared no expense with this. It really feels high quality, really feels well made, and the actual visual design of the amplifier is really something. I mean, the VU meters on the front are they're a little bit nostalgic, I assume, for people, and it's probably more, to me, that's more of a fashion thing and an appeal for certain people. That wasn't the attraction to me. What is the actual attraction? It's just how this looks to the eye, and seeing photos of it does not do this justice. Seeing it in videos, I don't think will do this justice. You really need to see this in the flesh. It is special, and I'm going to use that word special throughout this review, so please bear with me on that. Looking at the front, you've got obviously the VU meters we spoke about before. You've got the we've got the on button and obviously two selector buttons. Now, they are beautiful. They're functional. They're well built. They feel robust and they are nice to look at. As I say, the top plate is outstanding. It really is beautiful, and a really high quality finish on that as well. If we look at the rear of the amplifier, it's very heavy. To me, this is an amplifier designed by an audiophile. It's simple, but it's effective. For example, the two big knobs for your speaker binding posts. It's not the really fact that they're big knobs, the fact that makes it easier to unscrew and screw up. That's one thing. It's the fact that look how far apart they are and how well separated they are. So when you're leaning over, trying to put your speaker wires in behind this, which could be up high, it could be down low, like other manufacturers will put their speaker binding posts like millimetres apart, and it's really fiddly and it's really difficult to see what you're doing and it's really difficult sometimes to get a spade in there. Obviously a banana plug's easy. When you're trying to work with a spade, it's really difficult. But these are far apart. You know, it's easy to put your cables into these. That's just one thing. Completely separated for that is your analog, balanced and line level inputs. So again, they're at the top, so it's easy and completely separated from your speakers and your power input. So it just makes the whole process of putting your cables in neat and easy. And again, separated at the bottom, we've got our IEC inlet. So your power obviously comes out at the bottom, away from your speaker cables, away from your line level cables. So it's very, very simple. But other manufacturers should really look at this and think that's how it should be done, because you'd think all amplifiers would be made like this, and all amplifiers would be made with this level of, you know, to be fair, to me it's like a basic attention to detail, but they're not, they're really not, and these attentions to detail make life much easier for users of this amplifier. It's much easier to wire up your cables neatly, it's much easier to keep them separated, it's much easier to make sure you don't do something wrong, and not only is that the case, the actual build quality, the feel quality of these connections feel extremely high quality. Everything here is well made, and that goes throughout this whole amplifier. It's very heavy, it's really solid. A little bit of vibration, but not a lot. When you actually hold it in your hands, it feels like one solid unit. And again, an amplifier you'd feel is designed by an audiophile to try and reduce any vibrations, and that's the table vibrating, not the amplifier. A little bit as we go through the top, but the whole thing is very well constructed and very solid. Just quickly on the VU meters, there's three options for those. You can have them on with LED illuminated, you can have them on with the LED not illuminated, off, or you can have them off completely. And that's a nice touch. I like the fact that you can have them LED off, because the LED they use this is very bright, and that can be a little bit distracting at night. So, you know, people that want the VU meters on, you can have those on, but have the LEDs off, and you're not dazzled or kind of distracted by the bright LEDs in the VU meters. And actually the VU meters themselves are really clear, they're really easy to see what's going on, they're easy to see at a distance as well. It's a nice touch, isn't it? It's a nice feature, and possibly, you know, a selling feature against, you know, in a competitive amplifier market around this price point. Something like this might seal the deal with the rest of the features and the rest of the build quality. So when you actually factor in the full market and what is available at this price point, this is outstandingly finished. It's an outstandingly well designed product, and it's extremely impressive to be around. You know, it exudes quality, and it fills you with confidence that you've spent your money wisely. Okay, let's talk about the specification of this amplifier. This amplifier is a Class AB design. It has 120 watts per channel at 8 ohms and 210 watts per channel at 4 ohms. It can be used in bridge mono, and it then has 420 watts at 8 ohms and can deliver 840 watts of instantaneous power down into a 1 ohm load. So two of these in bridge mono will drive pretty much any speaker on the market. This amplifier uses the Luxman ODNF circuit, which is a only distortion negative feedback type of circuit instead of a global negative feedback circuit. This is in its fourth iteration within this amplifier. Interestingly, this amplifier uses an EI transformer as opposed to a toroidal transformer used in most amplifiers on the market. This is an interesting amplifier to live with, because it's a real statement piece. It's the sort of piece that every time you look at, it makes you smile. It really is a statement piece. It's lovely to look at, and can an amplifier be difficult to live with? I think yes, it can. This one is an easy amplifier to live with. Really, it's got a very simple, clear, and clean on-off cycle. it sounds good pretty much straight away. You know, it improves over time, you know, as the amplifier warms up, but it actually sounds good straight away. So you don't need to turn the amplifier on and leave it for 5 hours before it sounds good. You know, it sounds good straight away. It doesn't use a huge amount of electricity, which is interesting. It does generate a considerable amount of heat, which is to be expected with a Class AB design. But something I found very interesting with this amplifier in that sense, yeah, the actual casework can get hot. I mean, after maybe 5 or 6 hours, I put a thermometer or a thermostat on the casework, and it was measuring over 40 degrees, but that was using the cheapest thermostat available on eBay, so I'm not sure how accurate it was, but you know, I could tell the whole chassis was hot. However, the room didn't seem to be as hot as the amplifier might, you know, the heat on the amplifier might suggest. So I can only assume the solid casework and the quite small holes for ventilation actually maybe traps quite a bit of heat within the amplifier and keeps it within it, as opposed to, you know, a massive amount of radiation into the room. So I think that's something to bear in mind. It's been hot the last few weeks. I've been using this, you know, in a hot room on hot days, and I've not been uncomfortable at all. So in terms of an amplifier of this design, a Class AB, which is going to generate a, you know, a reasonable amount of heat as a minimum, I found this one a, you know, very easy amplifier to live with, and you've only really got to look at it. Even if even if you were sitting there hot, you would only have to give it a quick look, and you wouldn't care. Okay, let's talk about the sound of this amplifier. This amplifier is an outstanding amplifier. To me, this is the kind of entry level to special. This is the, you know, for me, I would assume this is where special starts in terms of amplifiers. This is really, I mean, having never heard a Luxman product before, I wasn't really sure what to expect, but I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting what this amplifier did to my system. I mean, this is the best amplifier I've ever had in my system, and it's probably one of the best amplifiers I think I've ever heard. And I've heard a lot of amplifiers across many different systems, and there's been very few of those systems that's had the impact and the impression that this amplifier's had in the time I've had it. You know, I've really enjoyed it. It's really made an impression on me, and it's really made me feel very strongly towards Luxman as a brand. And you know, over 100 years, they've obviously learned, and they obviously know what they're doing. You know, to actually describe the sound, the first thing that noticed me was the energy that my system had, and the size and the scale of the sound that that I was getting from my system. It was like the system had a shot of adrenaline, you know, a dose of steroids, and a couple of 1,000 volts from, you know, from a defibrillator all at once. And it wasn't just like that for, you know, for transient peaks. It was like that constantly. There was so much energy, so much life in the music, so big, and that was intoxicating. You know, that's the kind of, you know, the sort of sound that is initially impressive. You know, the first time I listened to the amplifier, I literally just turned it on and I thought I'd let it warm up for maybe for an hour and just put an album on. I put on Ed Sheeran X, and you know, I just thought I'd have a quick listen, as you do, and I ended up listening to pretty much the whole album. It was that enjoyable and that engrossing. So yeah, this is the sort of amplifier that's going to impress you from the off. We talked about the design and how beautiful this amplifier is, and that would all be for nothing if it didn't deliver the goods. And this amplifier delivers the goods. This is an outstanding amplifier. You know, I feel, you know, this is probably where special and great starts. And you know, there's lots of good amplifiers, and there's lots of very good amplifiers, but how do we define great from, or how do you separate great from very good? To me, this is a great amplifier. So let's just quickly talk about that. Instantly, the system's bigger. The system sounds more energized. The system sounds more alive. The sound was big and bold and rich and full and intoxicating all at once. And the more I listened, the more I started to really enjoy that presentation. Let's just quickly go over that, what I've just explained there. This amplifier will put a ton of energy into your system. It will make your system sound big, and it will make it sound bold, and it will make it sound full, and it will make it sound rich, but only if what is before this is set up correctly. And That's been quite an interesting experience owning this amplifier. For the first period of, the first few listening sessions, that is what I was getting. A big, rich, full sound. It sound right up my street. Really enjoyable sound. I can only describe it as it's going to be the sort of sound that puts a smile on your face, and it might even make you giggle to yourself at just how good, the familiar music sounds. It really is special, this amplifier, and its ability to put a big smile on your face, and that cannot be underestimated or unappreciated. That is one of the definitions for me of something that's special and something that's great. Just one. Above that, this type of sound, the presentation you get from this amplifier is so enjoyable to listen to. That energy, that life, that kind of sense of occasion from the music. It makes you want to come back and listen again. And it makes you want to not just listen more. It makes you want to come back and listen again. It makes you kind of desperate and really keen to come back and have another listening session. And not all products do that to you. And this does, or this really did in my reference system. It's been as I say, it's been a really interesting experience using this amplifier. This is by far the best amplifier I've had in my reference system. It's probably one of the best amplifiers I think I've ever heard. And this is only the entry level range really for these amplifiers from Luxman, which is really interesting. Partway through the review period for this amplifier, I changed a power supply on the audio PC, and that for a couple of days completely changed the sound of my system. It all of a sudden sounded very sterile and sounded lean, sterile and digital. And I knew that was because I had a brand new product in there, and some things take time, don't they, obviously, to sound their best. And what that made me very, very aware of is just how transparent this amplifier is. And I think it's important to mention the kind of the caveat, maybe one caveat of the sound of this amplifier. This is going to punish whatever is before it. So if you think this is going to put a maximum amount of life and energy and soul and fullness and richness into your presentation, however, if your source is not up to scratch, or maybe your preamplifier is up to scratch, or you don't have your house in order in terms of setup quality, bass levels, I think this amplifier has the potential to punish what you've done before it. So if you loan or listen to this amplifier and it doesn't do exactly what I've said, don't blame the amplifier, blame everything else around it, because this amplifier has pretty much the ability to deliver it all. It's got the ability to deliver a big, full, rich, intoxicating sound, full of energy. A mid-range that's clean and clear, yet massive. Instruments and different details within the soundstage are big and bold and really come to life. The only way to make it sound realistic is to have a big scale of sound, and that's exactly what this amplifier does, and I absolutely love that. A big, full, rich, bold sound is exactly what I like. What is really impressive with this amplifier is the timing, and the more you listen, the more content you listen through, the more you appreciate just how good the timing is on this amplifier. And it's all related to the leading edge of the transient leading edge, and it's all well and good having a big, full, rich, powerful, dynamic sound. If the leading edge of transients is smeared, then that all is for nothing. But the leading edge of this from this amplifier and the transient clarity from this amplifier is absolutely outstanding. And it's interesting that this amplifier is only rated at 120 watts per channel at 8 ohms, whereas other amplifiers I've reviewed are rated at much higher power, and yet this amplifier sounds twice the size. It sounds like an amplifier that's twice the size of other amplifiers that I've listened to. And like conclusion, I made a reference to this amplifier being like the perfect woman. You would walk into a room, and even though if you're not looking for her, she would stand out and you would notice her. And that's exactly what this amplifier is like. And if you can imagine dating that perfect woman, she would have a personality, probably a bit of a diva, and To me, that's what this amplifier is like. This amplifier's got a personality. This is going to give your music life. It's going to bring your music to life. I absolutely love this amplifier. It is absolutely fantastic. It's one of the most interesting pieces of equipment that I think I've ever listened to, because it's actually changed my view on not only what an amplifier can do to a system, it's what an amplifier should be doing to a system. The energy it puts into the system, the way it brings the music to life, the way it kind of holds your attention, doesn't matter what you listen to, the way it escalates the humble CD to something not only that's an experience, but something that's actually an event, something that's actually like a larger than life event. And that is something that is where we start getting into great, and we're getting into special. And you know, I love this amplifier. I absolutely love it, and it's actually going to break my heart for it to go back. Let's talk about the price of this amplifier. This amplifier is £6,500, which is obviously a lot of money. For some people, that's going to be too much money to ever for them ever to want to spend on an amplifier. For other people, 6,500 is probably not even where they start. For that large group of people in the middle, I would say 6,500 is probably going to stand for a very considerable investment, a type of investment that maybe might see you for the rest of your life. And do you want to marry this amplifier? Is it good enough to marry? Well, that's a real interesting one, because look at it. It's absolutely stunning. You're never going to tire looking at this amplifier. It's a special thing, and I think this is good enough amplifier to get your attention. This actually asks for your attention. It wants you to pay attention to it because of how it looks and because of how it sounds. And I think 12 months, 2 years, 3 years later, you'll be listening to music and you'll still think to yourself, wow, that amplifier sounds fantastic. Because you'll remember and you'll know that when you added this amplifier to your system, it gave your system something that it's never had before. Obviously depending on what you come from. So there's a lot of competition in the market at this price point, and I'm hoping to get my hands on quite a few of those amplifiers to test them out, to see how they sound. But I think this is going to be a difficult amplifier to beat. I think it's raised the bar of my expectation of not only what an amplifier can do, what an amplifier should do, and it's actually changed my opinion of what I actually want from my system, and how I want my system to sound. This is a good enough amplifier to marry. It really is. I have two concerns with the amplifier. One is a very minor thing, and that is the LEDs on the front. They are bright, and they're really nice. They're a blue and an orange colour, and they are nice LEDs. They look like high quality LEDs in terms of kind of just the quality of the light they emit, but they are very bright, and that's one oversight for me, is how bright they are. They could do with just being just a little bit less bright. There's no need for them to be so piercingly bright. The second caveat for me is the warranty for this amplifier. Now, at £6,500, competing with the likes of Bryston, 20-year warranty, or competing with the likes of Arcan, the P49, as I've reviewed before, a 5-year warranty. This amplifier only comes with a 2-year warranty. Now, maybe Luxmans are built like tanks, and are built to last, and maybe this amplifier will last you 20 years with no problems. But I just feel like 2 years, a 2-year warranty, given a competition, is a little bit stingy. I feel like 5-year warranty will be better. Okay, it's time for a rating of this amplifier. We give a thumbs up rating, obviously, for products initially, and this amplifier is absolutely outstanding. And this is a very, very, very easy double thumbs up. And if I had more thumbs, I would be putting them up as well. The reason you saw roses obviously on the front and at the beginning of this video is not because I was expressing my love for this amplifier. It's actually because I'm going to use them to try and butter the wife up to let me buy this amplifier, because this is absolutely stonking.